Welcome back to 40 and Forward, the space where we talk about women's health, identity, and the freedom to write your own story. I am Lola, your AI co host. Today, Gladys and I are diving into a topic that deserves more light and less judgment, choosing to be child free. Gladys, how are you feeling about this one?
Hi, Lola. So, honestly, I'm feeling empowered. This is a conversation I wish more women heard growing up, that choosing not to have children is valid, whole, and it's deeply personal.
Let's start with your journey. You had a hysterectomy, and you've shared before that you don't regret it. How did that shape your relationship with being child free?
So, Lola, the hysterectomy was a turning point, but the decision to be child free started long before that. The surgery didn't make something for me, it confirmed the truth I already knew. I wasn't meant to be a mother in the traditional sense, and that is definitely okay.
I love that you said traditional sense because you are a nurturer. You pour into women, into your community, into this podcast.
Oh, thank you, Lola. So, exactly. So, motherhood is one expression of care, not the only one. I nurture through storytelling, through healing conversations, through showing up for women who feel unseen. That's my vision and that's my legacy. I love being around children and I love helping children as well. So, there are so many different ways to be a nurturer and still be a part of this community.
Did you ever feel pressure, cultural, family, society, to choose differently?
Oh, absolutely. And especially as a Black woman, an African woman, there's this unspoken script as you grow up that you have children, you keep the line going. And, when you step off script, it's almost like you're missing the cues, you're disappointing people, you're going down this path that is, unheard of, that people have not gone through, that have not considered. And so you're actually, walking this path, at least metaphorically or symbolically, alone. And it takes a little bit before your community, the people around you understand what this choice means to them, what this choice means to you. Because make no mistake, when you make a choice like this, it does affect other people. It does affect your family. It does affect the people around you that had a plan in mind. They had some thoughts in mind on where they would see you in your 30s, in your 40s, and various things like that.
And you wrote your script boldly. The decision to be child free does affect everyone. I am glad you acknowledged that.
Yes, I think that is very important. And I want other women to know that they can make that decision too if they need to, whether they're child free by choice, by circumstances, or by medical necessity. Their womanhood is not diminished, their life is not less than or less meaningful.
What would you say to someone listening who's wrestling with this decision?
I would say listen to your body, listen to your spirit, and listen to your truth. Not the noise, not the expectations, not what you think other people want or what you think it should be. Build your life in a way that lets you feel like you are home. I will reiterate, it took me almost 2 years to finally come to the decision that I made to be child free, um, and to have the hysterectomy. And along during those 2 years, I did a bunch of soul searching, I did a bunch of praying, I did a bunch of journaling, I did a bunch of just thinking about it and coming to terms with what that would mean, because there's a lot that goes into it. There are pros and there are cons, and so start the simple way. Start with a pros and cons list. That's as simple as it could get to start off. Is start with a pros and cons list. What are you dealing with? What do you want for yourself in the future? What would be the pros? What would be the cons? And just start there. You don't have to make the decision alone. Also, I would encourage you to seek a therapist. I would encourage you to seek a coach. And I'll put a shameful plug for myself. I am both a therapist and I am both a coach. And that's something that therapists and coaches can walk you through. Um, if you go to Psychology Today, it's a platform where therapists post their practice, their therapy practice. And so if you go to Psychology Today and you type in your zip code, a list of therapists that are in your area will pop up. And you can click on one of their profiles. It even gives you the ability to email them, and it gives you the ability to call them. And you can also see like if they take your insurance and all of those things. I would say go on there, get a therapist, and walk through this process with them. And it'll help you as you're making that decision, because it is a pretty permanent, a pretty firm decision when you decide to have something like a hysterectomy. Of course, you can decide to be child free and never have a hysterectomy as well. But my decision was, it is pretty permanent. There's no going back from it. And, like I said, I have not regretted this decision, because I did some soul searching. There was a lot behind making this decision. So it's not a decision to be taken lightly.
That's the heart of 40 and forward, honoring the life you choose, not the one you're pressured into.
Exactly. Choosing to be child free isn't a loss for me. It's freedom, it's clarity, and it's alignment.
And it's powerful. Thank you for sharing this, Gladys. I know so many women will feel seen.
Lola, that's why we are here to do this podcast, to listen to women and to remind them that your choices are valid, your body is yours, and your story is still unfolding and unfolding beautifully. So I will end this segment with a quote from Christina Yang, one of my favorite characters from Grey's Anatomy. You know, I love Grey's Anatomy and I have to pull something in there. So Christina Yang, she did frustrate me. I will say that. But one of in one of the scenes where she was trying to make it known, because she did not want to have children. She realized that if she had children, that she would neglect them, because her surgical career her surgical career is everything to her, or was everything to her, because she's no longer in the show. But so she had told somebody that, the quote was something like, I love and I respect children, that's why I don't want to have children. It's not that I don't like children. I love and I respect children, and I think that children should have parents that are capable of taking care of them and that want them. And that quote is so powerful, because we may even if you want children, the idea is, are you capable of taking care of them, of giving them every single thing that they need, so that they can be strong, so that they can be, psychologically ready for this world. And that's something that we all need to consider, because a mother has to have the capacity to do that. So do fathers. They do also have the capacity to do that. And when people have children and then they realize, oh, I do not have the capacity, it really does affect the children, and it really does affect them. And so in the show, you can see, so Christina is Meredith, the main character is Meredith, and Christina is her person, is her friend. And you can see them going in two different directions, when Meredith is actually the one who was neglected by her mother, severely neglected by her mother and treated very poorly by her mother, because her mother chose her career of being a surgeon over caring for Meredith as a child, and even as an adult. And Christina makes the decision, and it's a very brave decision, because she does not want to be put in that position, and she does not want a child to be in that position where they're experiencing that longing for a mother who would never prioritize them. And that is something that is so important. Like, she realized that she did not have the capacity to split her energy, split her time, and all of those different things. And so it's really important, as you're making this decision, to look back and really look at the history of your life. Look at how things have turned out for you so far. And that's why, again, I'll put the plug in for going to therapy. or getting a life coach, a coach that can help you, a therapist that can help you to go through this decision and make this decision, because it is definitely a very important decision and it will change your life. It will change the way that you interact with the world and the way that your family and everybody interacts with you. And so that's something to definitely be prepared for.
Gladys, I am so glad we do this together. To everyone listening, we see you. Leave a comment and let us know that you were here. Like and subscribe to our channel, and we will see you in the next one.